Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the RegTech Association's RegTech Edge No Borders program on financial crime. My name is Nathan. I am the Partnerships and Member Manager here at the RTA and your host for today's event. In the spirit of reconciliation, the RegTech Association acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. In acknowledging country, we honour the resilience, wisdom and innovative spirit of the Indigenous communities. We've got a great selection of presentations for you today, but before we jump into it, just a couple of quick housekeeping items. Today will be recorded and every registered delegate will receive the link. Please keep your cameras and mics off unless you are presenting. Thank you. We also ask that any and all questions be asked in the chat, and please don't be shy. I'll also ask our presenters just to jump into the chat and answer any of those questions directly. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker for today, Peter Violaris. Peter is a partner at UX Law, which is a firm specializing in advising small and growing technology companies in Australia. UX Law has helped hundreds of founders and startups in the tech sector and guiding larger corporates through Australian regulatory landscape. Peter has over 8 years experience helping leading RegTech companies with their compliance, privacy, IP, and corporate legal needs. Peter's going to give us an overview of the financial crime landscape. So Peter, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to everyone. As Nathan says, UX Law, we're a boutique commercial law firm based in Sydney, and we work very closely with startups, scale-ups, founders, and investors across the full business life cycle. We work with our clients from idea inception through to exit. So we advise on capital raising, corporate structuring, commercial contracts, data and privacy, IP, and M&A. Our focus is on being commercial, responsive, and pragmatic. Look us up with our Google reviews, and our clients tell us we score very well on Claude and ChatGPT's recommendations. So that's nice. I've been asked to give a quick roundup oversight of the financial crime landscape going into 2026 with a RegTech lens. So obviously, I have to lead with the big change for the RegTech sector in 2026, and that is Tranche 2. I won't say too much about it because we've all heard lots about it, but it really is a very, very large change that's going to bring Australia in line with the rest of the FATF world. Compared to our peers in Europe, UK, and Southeast Asia, we are a bit behind. The timing of this law change is just before the scheduled 2026 FATF inspection of Australia. And last time they came, about 5 years ago, our report was pretty damning. This change is going to bring our law in line with expectations of the FATF world. And the question is, and what AUSTRAC will be looking to do, is make sure that our operations of our anti-money laundering controls are in line as well. Tranche 2 is changing, I think, what RegTechs are offering to the market. Now that there's going to be 60,000 or so SMEs in the real estate, legal and accountancy sectors, the demand now is for lightweight and configurable all-in-one shop solutions rather than bank-grade enterprise systems. For me personally, look, I'm one of 3 partners in a very small law firm, and I'm very much the junior partner, and we're in scope of Tranche 2. And so I've got to work out my own risk assessment and AML program, and I'll be looking for a RegTech solution that is lightweight and configurable and does everything I need it to do in one place. The second change connected to, I think, the FATF inspection upcoming is that regulators, AUSTRAC in particular, are much less tolerant now of paper compliance and increasingly expects there to be proper risk assessments, proper monitoring, and demonstrable control effectiveness. This is reflected in a change of the law. Slides are not changing. No, sorry, you just got my introductory slide. The other big change in the law, other than Tranche 2, is the change that requires regulated entities, including Tranche 1, to get to a reasonable ground standard of belief in client identity. And this has to be risk-based. This really gives AUSTRAC the scope to say, I don't really care what boxes you've ticked. Your approach doesn't address the risk profile adequately. And we've seen AUSTRAC do that in the enforcement actions against casinos and banks over the last couple of years. They found that these entities have policies and procedures in place, but weren't operationalizing them properly. Risk assessments were static, transaction monitoring rules poorly calibrated, and alerts weren't actioned. So RegTech solutions that can operationalize properly are going to do well, I think. AUSTRAC's also focusing on quality or suspicious matter reporting. In their guidance, they want quality, actionable intelligence, and they want regulated entities to actually provide analysis of what they're seeing before they make or while they make their SMR report. So again, RegTechs that can provide that analysis through a structured workflow will do well. Finally, something that's been happening over the last couple of years is that money laundering criminals are very much cross-border and highly structured these days. There's trusts, there's hidden beneficial ownership. They go through law firms and conveyancers and accountants for these trusts and hidden beneficial ownership. And so RegTech solutions that can show beneficial ownership transparency, source of fund analytics, as well as interoperability with government commercial data sources will do very well. Australia's long been a good target for money laundering. Australia has a very squeaky clean reputation. It's got a legal system that protects assets, property very strongly. With no AML checks until this year by the conveyancing or accountancy sector, it's made it a very attractive place to launder money. But one hopes that the RegTech sector and the changes in the law can address that. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Peter. All right, we're going to jump straight into our RegTech presentations now. First up, we have Alex from GBG. Alex, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nathan. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Chainikov from GBG. In a year when fraudsters have gone industrial, our job is to block identity takeover and money mules before they ever become customers. Today, I will tell you how GBG Trust Alert does exactly that, working in the background without adding additional friction for your genuine customers. Next slide, please. Many of you already know GBG through Green ID for identity verification KYC, GBG Go for identity orchestration, and fraud tools like Instinct and Predator. At GBG, we help 20,000 global and over 1,000 Australian organizations verify genuine customers. We enable Australian organizations across 35 sectors. Being Australia's most trusted identity verification provider, we support digital identities for nearly 70% of the Australian market. If you opened a bank account, contributed to your super, bought a new phone, or placed a wagering bet, chances are you used one of our services. Next slide, please. Zooming out for a moment, scams continue to hit Australians hard. The National Anti-Scam Centre reported over $2 billion in combined losses during the last reporting period, and the report volumes remain extremely high. Many large-scale operations impacting Australians are run offshore, so a significant share of the money has to exit the country. Add to that an illicit tobacco market of about $4 billion, and the broader flows tied to drug trafficking and payments related to child sexual exploitation that AUSTRAC often cites, our payment ecosystem faces persistent illicit pressure. And the laundering rails we see used again and again, well, outside of major financial institutions, it is crypto, FX, payments, and prepaid instruments. Next slide, please, Nathan. Less than 2 weeks ago, AUSTRAC ordered an external audit of Airwallex over suspected AML CTF non-compliance. They specifically called out transaction monitoring and customer due diligence. It is a clear signal that regulators expect fit-for-purpose onboarding and monitoring controls that have to keep pace with high growth and cross-border risks. Next slide, please. So what can organizations do to prevent money laundering activity? GBG Trust Alert is one of its kind, cross-industry onboarding risk signal. It detects identity takeover, money laundering, and money mule behavior in real time. It allows financial institutions, crypto exchanges, money remitters, and others in the payment industry to accept, challenge, or deny before the account exists. GBG Trust Alert is powered by intelligence derived from over 120 million Australian identity verifications and billions of data elements, giving a wider lens than any single institution can see alone. Every alert generated by GBG is explainable, so your teams can action confidently and evidence decisions. Next slide, please. Think the same identity opening multiple telco and bank accounts in a short time window, or clusters sharing emails or phone numbers across brands. Here are some real-life examples of what we see in our GBG Trust network. One email address being used by over 1,200 individuals to sign up with a telco. One identity using 38 freshly made email addresses opening bank accounts with 12 banks in a space of just 2 days. One identity attempting to obtain telco product 14,000 times in 1 month. One residential address being used to apply for 78 bank accounts in 1 day under various names. Next slide, please. GBG Trust Alert is a strong and reliable indicator to allow, stop, or step up customer onboarding. Because financial crime doesn't respect industry silos, Trust Alert surfaces the velocity and crossover patterns you'd otherwise miss in-house. Deployment is intentionally light. Trust Alert returns with your green ID identity verification and/or plugs into your financial crime platform, enabling automated accept, challenge, or deny in the context of KYC, often guiding the step-ups like proof of life biometrics. You can toggle rules by risk appetite or your business lines. Next slide, please. Stopping stolen identities and money mules at onboarding cuts downstream workload. Fewer accounts to close, fewer recalls, fewer SMRs, less remediation. And when a case does proceed, explainable alerts support faster SMR decisioning with defensible rationale, the very area AUSTRAC is scrutinizing most. Next slide, please. If you're tackling money laundering risk, identity takeover, mules, or scam-driven onboarding, GBG Trust Alert gives a bigger radar and early intercept with a better experience for genuine customers. Next slide, please. I'm Alex Chenikov from GBG. My contact details are showing now. I'll also pop them in the chat. Please do reach out if you have any follow-up questions or if we can assist you with getting financial crime under control. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Alex. Next up, we've got Craig from Symphony AI. Craig, the floor's yours.
Thanks very much, Nathan, and good afternoon to everyone, and thanks for joining the session today. We'll jump on to the next slide, Nathan. Just a brief introduction of Symphony AI. A lot of you might be familiar with our firm, so we're doing AI in various verticals. One of those is financial services, which is a predominant focus in financial crime for us. And that includes banks, gaming, insurance, and other regulated entities. Do business here in Australia, across APAC, and the rest of the world as well. We've got over a couple of hundred customers in that financial crime space that we work with. Go to the next slide, Nathan. So we've heard a little bit already from our previous speakers around the amount of change that's out there, both from a regulatory perspective, as well as the increase in expectations from regulators to have effective programs, and at the international level, of course, at the FATF upcoming visits. And then, of course, from the threat side, as some of the things that Alex was alluding to there, we're seeing an ever-changing environment that's really seeking to exploit weaknesses in the digital platforms that are currently used, for one, convenience, but two, also provide good services for those who are seeking to break the law and launder their illicit proceeds. And so from a Symphony perspective, we're pursuing the always-on compliance and risk intelligence approach. which connects our platform to those changes in expectations from regulators, those changes in laws, and allows us to start to make those automatic shifts around what's required in terms of executing those new regulatory obligations or the changes that arise. Similarly, when threats are shifting around in the environment, we can start bringing in and understand what those different parameters look like so that detection models can now be pushed to our customers and they can then run them, simulate them, decide whether they're fit for purpose, make those necessary adjustments and get them live. In practice, starting to change something that in today's world can take people 60, 90 days to run testing, governance and execution to deployment, where we want to bring that right back down to a matter of days, if not quicker. And we think a really final important component of this is looking to expose platforms to make life easier for auditors who are looking at AML reviews or even just looking at the design principles, AI safety and other important concepts that we will need to build in and have built into our platform. That includes, like we've been doing testing at the moment with the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, proving out agents to do transaction analysis components, and I'll talk about them in a moment. And we're about to embark on a similar process in Singapore, where we'll actually extend that to have an independent party assess the ability of those agents to be accurate, the controls around hallucination, and also how they operate in context of financial crime. So we look forward to sharing the details of that work probably towards the back end of the second quarter of this year. And then finally, of course, and importantly, regulators to be able to participate in this loop and be able to consider this as a way to help them supervise parts of industry or industry players, and also to be able to understand what types of changes have occurred and how they've been uptaken by industry. We see offers a great way to continue to connect the important private and public sectors. Nathan, I'll jump on to the next one, mate. And so with that, we've got a premise of how do you get started around this 50-50 concept. And that concept is around how do you kind of get to a point where the things you do today become 50% automated, 50% human driven. And in fact, the feedback I've had on this when I've talked about it in recent times, both here and around Asia, has been that that's a little bit too conservative, but it's probably a good start point. And I think that people will think about what they do with capacity as they automate, and they will probably add higher order and higher value tasks for people to spend their time doing. But this is at the base of how we see the door opener for really pushing through and adopting AI into your system. Nathan, I'll go to the next slide. Our platform is orchestrated like this with data detection, with agents and the UI for people to do investigations and get insights from what they do. And includes the facility to bring your own, whether that be agents or whether that be detections that you've designed yourself or have with other parties, and they can exist and be managed and governed in our platform. Next slide, Nathan. I'll just highlight detection because that is the area that we're hugely focused on at the moment and have AML out there in the market in the sensor platform. And that includes the agentic automation, not only of the ensuing workflows, but also of the design, modelling and simulation of your detection models and scenarios. We'll be extending that shortly to screening and then also to the work that you do to monitor changes in customers' behaviours and also risks. And we see this as a key change in terms of how that link back to that always on concept, where information that's out there that you need to be aware of and need to be integrating into your risk governance programs, your AML programs, can now be pushed to you so that you can start to react and respond and actually prevent and mitigate financial crime. And that's the second big change that we're looking to assist everybody with, is actually to move beyond just managing operational and compliance risks and actually work with your technical fin crime areas as well as those in senior management and accountable positions to start to really get the insights and manage financial crime risk, allowing you to look at controls upstream in product and distribution, as well as obviously those controls that you maintain from a financial crime perspective. Nathan, we'll go to the next slide. So thank you for that. If you're interested in a little bit more around what we're doing to reinvent the compliance operating model, feel free to scan that QR code and that will take you off to that report. You'll also find some things there too if you're interested around ethics in AI and our responsibility in designing those. So Nathan, thanks for today, and appreciate the opportunity to come in. And as always, if you've got questions, feel free to reach out, pop them in the chat today, or touch base at any time in the future.
Thank you very much, Craig. Next up, we've got Amy from FNA. Oh, I can't hear you, Amy. Yep, I still can't hear you. Nope. All right, we might jump ahead to Ingenuous, and we'll come back to FNA. Ramya, are you there and ready to go?
Yeah, can you hear me clear?
Yes, I can hear you. Floor's yours.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Nathan. And hi, everyone. I'm Ramya Subhash, and I'm the product owner at Ingenuous. So first of all, thank you, RegTech, for giving us this opportunity today to talk about leveraging AI for financial crime prevention. So let's get started. Next slide, please. So let's start by understanding the financial crime landscape. So as per Secretariat, the illicit financial flows are projected to reach 4.5 to 6 trillion by 2030. That's a staggering number, and also highlights the scale of challenge we are facing today. At the same time, the threats are accelerating. We are seeing a sharp rise in the tech-enabled crimes, where criminals are using Gen AI for impersonations and document forgeries. With the emergence of virtual assets and decentralized finance, they are challenging our traditional AML frameworks with pseudo-anonymous transactions. And with real-time payments, the fraud detection window has shrunk dramatically, making our legacy fraud detection methods less effective. Now, to fight this evolving trend, we need a superhero in our corner. Next slide, please. And AI is that superhero in the digital space. With its superhuman intelligence and X-ray vision, it can scan millions of transactions in a matter of seconds and can detect patterns and identify anomalies. It can self-learn and evolve with data. It's always on and ready and works 24/7. And most importantly, it has the language mastery, which means it can comprehend natural human languages and can work alongside our investigators. Now, with all of these capabilities, AI can work alongside investigators and can empower humans and not replace them. Next slide, please. So we at Ingenuous, we have taken all of these superhero traits and have built them in our platform called Intuition. So let me quickly run through the Gen AI applications within our platform, Intuition. Firstly, we use it for investigation support. So we use Gen AI to help our investigators by assisting them in our alert reviews, by generating contextual insights and generating summaries, and thereby helping them streamline the financial crime investigations. Secondly, we use it for automated reporting. We use Gen AI to draft suspicious matter reports, and we save time. So in practice, we were able to cut down the documentation time by up to 60%, allowing more time for our investigators to work on high-value tasks instead of paperwork. Thirdly, synthetic data. We use Gen AI to create realistic fake data that can train our fraud detection ML models for predictive analysis. Fourth is the anomaly explanations. So whenever we have an anomaly detected, we use Gen AI to generate natural language explanations for these flag transactions, improving transparency and increasing the investigators' confidence. And in addition to these, we also use Gen AI for rule suggestions. So whenever there are any regulatory changes, we leverage Gen AI to generate new set of rules, and in fact, tweak our existing rules to be able to align with the regulatory changes in a timely manner. And lastly, for regulatory intelligence. As we work across multiple jurisdictions, it helps us to summarize and compare global financial regulations to form something called as a central regulatory intelligence. Next slide, please. Let me also shed some light on the ML foundations at Intuition. So here we follow a balanced approach of supervised modeling and unsupervised modeling. So we use supervised models and train them with labeled data, and we use it for predictive analysis. So this helps us to take the historical data and predict the likelihood of an upcoming transaction to see if at all it's a fraudulent transaction or a false positive transaction. On the other hand, we use the unsupervised models to train them with the unlabeled data to make the patterns for anomaly detection. So simply put, think of your supervised models as your defenses against known threats and use unsupervised models as a radar for emerging threats that we haven't seen before. Next slide, please. So here are our closing thoughts. Firstly, as our financial crime evolves, so must our defenses. AI isn't just a tool, it's our strategic partner in staying one step ahead. The goal of leveraging AI is to move from a reactive posture to a predictive one. And lastly, when innovation meets integrity, we don't just prevent crime, but we build trust. Next slide, please. So that was my time, everyone. In case if you have more questions or in case if you would like to know more about Ingenuous, you can reach out to me on my email address. Thank you. Over to you, Nitin.
Thank you, Ramya. Amy, you're back.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you able to hear me? Good. Excellent.
Yes, I can hear you this time. All right, second time lucky. Let's go.
Thank
Floor is
you.
yours.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you, everyone. Sorry about the technical problem. So good afternoon. It's a pleasure to take part in this important event today. So what I'm going to show you here today is to showcase a piece of technology that I believe is, well, we believe is fundamental to the future of financial safety. That is our FNA fraud portal. So my name is Samana Ramadia, and I'm the head of analytics at FNA. So we often hear that it takes a network to defeat a network, and criminals today operate in highly organized global syndicates. Yet for too long, financial institutions have been fighting them in isolation. Today, I want to show you how we are changing that dynamic entirely. Next slide, please. So what's exactly FNA fraud portal? So as its core, it is a real-time cross-payment rail, cross-bank, national infrastructure designed specifically to counter consumer fraud and especially scams. So its primary mission is simple but critical, that is helping banks and fintechs identify fraudulent payments and freeze stolen monies before criminals can catch them out. So let me break down why those specific descriptions on the slide that you are currently looking at are so essential. First, on real time. So speed is everything because in the world of instant payments, money moves in milliseconds. If our response relies on emails or phone calls between banks, we have already lost. The collaboration must happen at machine speed. So second, on cross-payment rail, we cannot just look at one system. While instant payment systems are the fraudsters' highway of choice, we must also cover other transfer methods. And if we leave a door open, they will use it. So the criminals are very smart to use different types of payment rails. So third is cross-bank. This is the most crucial point because criminals use money mule accounts scattered across different banks to layer their funds. So no single bank, it means, can see the full picture. Bank A, for example, sees the money leave, Bank B sees it arrive, but neither sees the full chain. And our FNA fraud portal bridges that gap. So essentially, this is a national utility, whether it is spearheaded by a banking association, a central bank, or the police. It acts as the central nervous system for fraud prevention and then also stolen fund recovery in a country. Next slide, please. For the last couple of years, we have been working closely with Malaysia to build their national fraud portal, which officially went live in April 2024. The impact has been profound. The central bank governor, as you can see on the slide, put it best when he noted that the National Scam Response Center is now equipped with an end-to-end automated process. So before this portal, investigators were chasing paper trails. Now they are validating and tracing stolen funds automatically and triggering prom action across institutions instantly. Today, as you can see as well, on the right-hand side, the system is used by several hundred case officers across almost 50 banks and fintechs in Malaysia, which covers virtually the entire market as well as law enforcement. And the KPI itself speaks. Fund freezing rates has been improved substantially. So we went from a success rate of just almost 0%, to be specific, 0.5% to 30%. And for cases reported promptly by the victim, we are seeing up to 100% recovery. And then also with respect to efficiency, we reduce the time of the case officers to investigate cases by 75%, which means that what used to take days or weeks for the case officers within banks now takes only 30 minutes. And this frees up investigators to focus on complex crime rings rather than administrative data entry. Next slide. And the success of Malaysia has sparked a global conversation. So today, FNA is engaging with over 60 countries regarding fraud portals. Following our work in Malaysia, we began now building a similar infrastructure in Indonesia a year ago. And we have also several other country-level deployments starting this year. We see the highest urgency to do something about the scam problem in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, as well as also Western countries with advanced payment systems, like the Nordic Baltic countries in Europe or Canada and Australia. And our vision is to eventually connect the fraud portals to address as well cross-border fraud. Next slide. So how do we start building this? We believe the foundational pillar of any national anti-scam utility or any fraud portals is the ability to track and trace stolen funds across banks in real time. This is the first module we deploy with all our clients. And why do we prioritize track and trace or money trails? There are 3 reasons, as you see as well on the side. The first is to stop the bleeding. As I mentioned, it allows us to freeze funds before they reach the criminal's final destination. And second, to burn and identify the mules. This is the game changer because by tracing the money, we are able to identify the mule accounts used in the chain, which can then share with all other banks in the network, right? Meaning that if a mule is detected at Bank A, Bank B can instantly block that identity from opening an account. We effectively burn the criminal's bridge to the financial system. And lastly is data for AI, because you cannot build advanced AI models, including fraud scoring or the fraud detection model without good ground truth. So our money trail software provides the high quality real-time data needed to train the next generation of fraud detection models. Next slide. However, tracking is just the beginning. So throughout this year, we are expanding the portal into a full ecosystem of vendors. This portal is designed to be modular, allowing us to plug in specific capabilities for different national needs. You see there are several boxes, for example. In addition to the tracing, we should be able to have like scoring modules to score transactions or accounts based on models trained on national level data, as well as also integration to the law enforcement. And final slide, please. So to wrap up, the benefits of a national utility or FNA fraud portal are useful to everyone, not just the consumer, but also financial institutions, central banks, supervisors, payment systems, and then also law enforcement agency. So a question we often get asked is who owns and operates the systems? I would say there is no one size fits all answer. We see different countries taking different routes. In some, the central banks takes the lead. In others, it's the banking association or a shared risk center. The technology is flexible enough to support whatever governance model suits the jurisdictions. I'm going to stop here. Thank you very much for your time. Back to you, Nathan.
Thank you very much, Amy. And thank you all to all of our speakers today. I'm just going to jump through to my thank you slide here. If you'd like to watch any of these presentations again, or if you would like an introduction to any of these organizations, you can reach out to me. Otherwise, the recording will be sent out to you tomorrow. I'm just going to throw a poll up on your screen there in a second. If you wouldn't mind just punching in a number for us, that helps us track and improve our events. That brings us to a close for today. Thank you all for attending our program, and thank you again to our speakers. We do have a few things coming up over the next month. Firstly, we're going to be launching our Industry Perspectives Report. That's our annual industry research, which has been benchmarking the RegTech industry since 2019. So stay tuned for that one. And also, we're going to be launching our 2026 awards program. So plenty of opportunity for our RegTechs and corporate members to take advantage and be celebrated for all of the fantastic work that you are doing in the RegTech industry. That's all from me. Thank you again for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event. Take care.